Hi everyone! Welcome to Cobalt Crochet Tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to be a crochet pattern tester. And there's different reasons people do this. Some do it because they don't have the money and they don't want to buy a pattern, so testing a pattern is a good way to work to get a free one. Some people just absolutely love to crochet and crochet and crochet. And they might also really enjoy learning new skills of crocheting, and this is just a really fun, involved way to do it. And it feels more worthwhile because you're helping a designer get their pattern out to the world. Another reason is if people are trying to grow a crochet Instagram, and this helps with exposure and followers building up. So it's really simple to become one. All you have to do is have a public Instagram, and it's preferable that you have nice high quality crochet photos on there so people can see that you can crochet well. And start following some related hashtags like pattern tester, or pattern testers needed, or tester call, call for testers, crochet pattern testers needed, or if you knit, the related things for that. You're going to be added to a group chat if you get accepted to test a pattern, and before you start crocheting, it's a good idea to just look through the pattern you're given and look for formatting errors and suggestions you have. Then once you're done with that, you need to start getting your gauge, and if you're a hobby crocheter, sometimes you might think gauge isn't that important and you don't care if you don't get it exactly right, but if you're testing a pattern, it is essential that you get your gauge spot on, because designers go off the gauge 100% to create the fit of their garment, and if you're giving feedback based on a different gauge, it will be of no help to them. So this might take a whole day even, but find the right hook, frog, refrog, remake, try a different hook until you get that exact gauge right. It will take some time, and it's frustrating, I know, but you need to have a different mindset on it than what you're probably used to. Take the time to measure your gauge and make sure you get it right. And even if the designer has a very large gauge swatch and you're interested in, it's a good idea to make that whole gauge swatch. After that, you can rip it out, and then you can start working on the pattern. While you're working up the pattern, it's a good idea to take work in progress shots, and they can be official or unofficial, as in they don't have to look that great, and just share them in the tester group chat on Instagram. And it'll keep people motivated and encouraged, and they'll like to see your progress shots, and the designer will really appreciate seeing how it's coming. As you work up the pattern, so as you go, write your feedback directly into the printed pattern, or if you're doing it on a computer, somehow type it in there. That way at the end you don't have to remember the mistakes you found, and you can compile all your notes at the end in a line-by-line email format. You may not want to take the time to do this as you go, but it's very much worth it. Be sure to keep a sharp eye for stitch counts and all sorts of details. A reason people don't pattern test is because they think it takes too much time, but there are all sorts of size patterns to test. You can test really little things like boot cuffs or headbands. You don't always have to test those really big objects, and you could even go just medium-sized projects like a beanie or cowl. So there are shorter projects if you are interested in pattern testing but don't want to take a ton of your time. You don't always have to do those time-consuming ones like this sweater here. Then when you're all done with the pattern and your notes are all written down, it's time to compile them in an email to the designer and specifically say step by step, line by line, row by row, what your feedback was. And sometimes the designer will have a form for you to fill out, and if that's the case, just go by their form and answer all the questions. But if they don't have a form, then go ahead and type up an email. And in that same email, you'll want to include some nice pictures of your project. So you'll want really nice work in progress photos as well as finished photos, and take the time to do these right. The designer would probably rather have you send in photos late because you took longer to do them than to send in really bad photos early. And sometimes all you need to get a great photo is a simple clean white background, great natural light, and a pop of color with a plant or something. If you can't get modeled photos, it's a good idea to hang it up and make sure it's hanging right. That's all you need to know to be a crochet pattern tester. Thanks so much for watching.